run for my money. There is nobody, no one that run me. So give me a run for my money. Sipping bubbly, feeling lovely, living lovely. She's lovely.
I wanna be with you. Ay, I wanna be with. I wanna be with you. Ay, I wanna be with. I wanna be with you.
Me, just love me.
If I didn't ride blade on curve, would you still? If I'm in my mind at work, would you still? Keep it 100, I'd rather you trust me than to. Keep it a whole 100, don't got you, I got nothing. I got some.
I'm about to get into this, girls. It's for all my grown women out there.
Hello. Welcome back to my channel. If you've never been here before, my name is Chanel Dominique, aka Big Dog. Heavy on the big dog. Put some respect on the big dog, okay? Listen, I'm 5'1". I'm 5'1" inches of pure viciousness. And if you have been back, if you have been here before, welcome back. I missed you. Have you subscribed? Consider it, all right? I thank you. You could have been anywhere else, but you here with little me, and I thank you, and I appreciate you. Me and you a snap apart, my key, da da. Okay, I appreciate you. Thank you. So today, listen, I have a pretty fun video, okay? So I have had the luxury of being able to experience the world's biggest and newest cruise ship, okay? It is called Start of the Season. I'm gonna tell you all about it. I'm gonna tell you what I can tell you about it, what I did experience on it, okay? I was trying to figure out like what to do, trying to build an itinerary, and there wasn't much information. So I'm gonna give you my honest opinion on Start of the Season. Just stay tuned and keep on watching. This was actually a unique experience because this is what's considered a shakedown cruise, which is basically like a preview sailing, all right? The Star of the Seas, you can't go online and book an actual sailing for this ship until I think the end of August or the beginning of September, something like that. And I was fortunate enough to go from the 9th to the 13th of August, right? Super blessed. The way that these shakedown cruises work is I believe, and please do not quote me, I'm just going off what I heard, but I believe they had one before ours for influencers only that was out of Puerto Rico. I believe it was more like TikTok and Instagram, like short form influencers. They had us, a lot of the people on the ship that we were on, including myself. If you know somebody who works for Royal Caribbean, a lot of them got to go on this sailing and invite, you know, family, friends, etc. I was fortunate enough to go on that way. I believe there were other like deals that people got sent as well who didn't work for Royal, but that's the way I was able to get on the cruise. And then I believe right now, like as we speak, I think there's another like media influencer sailing, and then I think there's like another one. So there's like a million preview sailings before we get to the actual inaugural cruise. So hopefully this video helps somebody who's interested in getting on the inaugural cruise. As of right now, Start of the Seas is the newest and biggest ship. It costs $2 billion for this ship. That's billion with a B, okay? So this ship is nice. And this is the sister, from what I hear, to Icon of the Seas. Now, me, myself, I have never been on Icon of the Seas because I wasn't invited. And it's a hefty price tag. And as of right now, I'm not paying that price tag. You get what I'm saying? But from what I hear, and from some of the videos that I saw, I believe these ships are quite similar. So if you've already been on Icon, a lot of what I'm saying about Star may sound very familiar to you. And so with a shakedown cruise, number one, it was only 3 days, or it was only 3 nights, technically 4 days, which is fine, right? Because I didn't pay. You see what I'm saying? Don't nothing taste and smell better than FREE. You see what I mean? But you can't really experience a ship of this magnitude. You can't experience all $2 billion worth of ship in 3 nights. I mean, not unless you just up, baby. This is my vacation. I was on PTO. Okay, so I was there to enjoy myself, not really to get the concept. Essentially, this was kind of like a soft opening, right? So we had 3 nights. And also there were things like people were painting, there were finishing touches, there was a lot of rehearsals. Did not stop me from having a good time. I do it again and again, all right? But that's just something to note with the Shakedown Cruise. My experience was very much so unique because I didn't get everything that one would experience, and I'm sure for this ship they have to be 5 to 7 day sailings, have to be, because there's no way you can get all of the value that you would want from just a 3-day sailing. So just keep that in mind when I share my experience with you, okay? All right. So in this video, I am giving you my true and honest opinion and my experience on Star of the Seas, from the neighborhoods to the gym that I didn't visit. I didn't go and work out in the gym, but I visited the gym just so I could tell you about it. You get what I'm saying? From the Pearl, from the Royal Promenade, the different neighborhoods that they have, the Overlook, one of the most beautiful lounges at sea I've ever seen in my life. Okay, from a 24-hour late night snack where I was getting all the coffee cheesecake from. And I'm gonna tell you all about it, because why? Because I'm a good person. That's why. So these are my POVs from Star of the Seas. Okay, so first thing is first, let's talk about the Embarkation Experience. So I was in a Facebook group for the sailing. If you are going on a sailing anytime soon and there's a lot of things that are unfamiliar to you, highly advise you getting in the Facebook group and just kind of conversing with others about things that are going on within the sailing. For every cruise I've been on, that is what I do. It works wonders for me. So in the Facebook group, so just kind of backtrack a little bit. I live in the beautiful state of California. I have to go to Port Canaveral, which is about an hour outside of Orlando. So in case you do not know, that is the other side of the country. You see what I'm saying? We're talking a 5-hour plane ride. So what I did was, our sailing was on Saturday. I got off work on Friday, took a late night flight, prayed to dear Lord baby Jesus that there weren't a ton of delays, which it wasn't, and we made it on time. But they started letting people board the ship at around 11 a.m. However, we did not land and get situated, get our bags, and get transportation until about 12. So we didn't get to the port until about 1:04. Actually, I have it written down. We got to the port at 1:04, but when we landed and I was looking at the Facebook group, I was seeing these long lines that people were saying was not moving slow. I was like, oh hell, this is gonna be awful. Embarkation is going to take an hour to get on the ship. And that has not been my experience on other Royal Caribbean sailings. But again, this is new. I didn't know how many people they invited on this damn Shakedown Cruise. So I was just a little nervous going. And when we got there, baby, it was empty. It was empty. We walked right on in. I had nothing but good things to say. So we walked in. I timed it. We got out of the lift at 1:04. And I was on the ship by 1:18. We did the muster, and I was sitting down having me a bite to eat by 1:32. Okay, so the embarkation was not a rough process for me. However, just take into account that I got to the cruise port after 1 p.m. So I cannot speak to other cruises, but I will say for me and my ministry, getting there after 1 p.m. was very much so the move. Like, we walked right on in, very simple, very seamless, very easy. And they gave us merch. I was so excited. As soon as we walked in, they asked what size we wanted. So I got me a cute little Star of the Sea shirt. And even later on, I'll talk about the room, but even when we got into the room, they gave us hats. So that was very, very nice. My breath was taken away right when I walked on the ship, okay? When you walk on, you see something called the Pearl. The Pearl is magnificent. It is beautiful. It is so nice. I feel like Star specifically just gives such luxury. I feel like it's also very swanky. Also very, like, I don't know. What's the word I want to use to describe it? There was just so many details on this ship, okay? So, like, you could be walking and see, like, this crazy, like, like these crazy statue figures or dice that are 5 feet 1 inch tall like me, or it was just so swanky. A lot of like graffiti art. Like they really took their time with the details in this ship, and the pearl I think is what they took the most time on. It is stunning. So when I walked on and saw the pearl, I had seen it in other videos, but I was like, okay, I see what you did there, Royal. I see what you did there. The pearl is stunning. If you can, take some pictures, go view it. Like it's stunning. I don't know what other words to use to describe it, but when you walk on, placing that pearl right there, it's chef's kiss, because you're like, wait, what? I promise you, this ship, and this is the case for other royal ships that I've been on as well, it don't feel like you on a boat. It feels like you like on a, like when you walk in, it feels like you're on a mall. There's a neighborhood called Central Park. You really feel like you at a park. There's another park called Surfside. You really feel like you at the boardwalk. You get what I'm saying? Like they do such a great job at making you feel like you are whatever environment they are trying to embody. And that pearl is just, you need to check it out. Let's talk about the room. Now, I don't know if anybody had ever stayed in the room before, because like I told you, this sailing was the second one, I believe, that had ever taken place. I think the ship holds about 10,000 people, including crew members. This sailing had about 3,000 people in it. I think the one before us had somewhere, I don't know. I really don't know. But I think it had less than the 3,000 that was on our sailing, okay? So clearly it wasn't at full occupancy. So I don't know if anybody stayed in the room. Quite frankly, I don't care, because that room was nice. I very much so enjoyed it. First of all, being on a star, I felt like a star, because when I went in, there was a ship, Carnival Vista, and I've never been on Carnival Vista, but I hear Carnival Vista is a time. I heard Carnival Vista be lit, okay? And instead of swagging and surfing, okay, instead of I got my boots on the ground, okay, instead of enjoying all of that, baby, they was looking at us. It was in our business. I was from my balcony waving. I'm sure I'm putting in for the chair, but I was on my balcony waving, saying, hey girl, hey, blowing kisses. Nobody. You didn't even hear music. Usually if a Carnival ship rolls by you, you hear the music, baby. We didn't hear nothing. It was they sail away and they staring at us to start to see. Okay, so I very much so we the 1, the 2, and the 3, honey. All right. But the room. So back to the room. We were in a balcony room, okay? It was nice. It was definitely very, very nice. I enjoy how big the bathroom was. Now, I am a chunkier girl, okay? She is not skinty. She is thick. She is thickety thick. I am 5 feet 1, but I'm thick. You feel me? So sometimes you be taking a shower, okay, feeling like you got to be in a casket position, because it's so... No, you can take a normal shower. It's fine. Believe it or not, it was somewhere you could actually sit in the shower. That is unheard of. I've never heard of that on a cruise, which is actually nice, right? If you haven't seen it, I actually just went with my mom. I took her on Freedom of the Seas. It was so beautiful. I love her. But anyways, I just took my mom on a cruise, and her feet had a lot of swelling. She would have very much so benefited from being able to just kind of like sit on the little bench in the shower and letting the hot water just run on her feet. But that wasn't an option. You know why? Because me and my mama wasn't on Star of the Seas, right? But just so you know, I think having that bench, it didn't make a huge difference to me, except it was, of course, more room. Like my shoulders wasn't touching a curtain or the glass or anything like that. And it's crazy too, because like, or a butt cheek touching a glass, like it gets really ghetto in some of those cruise showers, because again, I'm 185 pounds. You get what I mean? I'm not small. So I think it's made for a smaller person, but then you wonder, maybe what is somebody 6 feet and 250? So I think that, I mean, you would clearly have to look at somebody who fits that, but I think people who are a bit bigger will be able to fit comfortably within this shower. Of course, the ship is brand new, so everything was very new, which was nice. Smelled good, except there was times where I'd be walking down the halls and it just smelled like some sort of a chemical. And again, they were they were still very much so working. Like there were areas that were like, you know, where they had like the plastic down because people were painting and things like that. So I think it's just to be expected. Maybe it was some epoxy they sprayed so the paint won't drip. I don't know, baby. But besides that, walking by and sometimes having to smell like having like this weird chemical smelled good, felt good. I will say that maybe the porters were on their job. The porters were on their job because they definitely took my USB port, definitely. And I had my camera, my phone, my Apple Watch. I had everything. So I was like, dang, like this is a bit of a stressor, but it wasn't. You know why? Because there were plenty of outlets in that room. USB, USB-C adapters, plugins. It was some in the bathroom. It was one near one of the beds. I mean, it was quite a few places where you could plug in devices. Like I said, both USB and USB-C that you could plug in as well. So I very much so enjoyed that, especially since they walked off with my USB cord, right? Right. Another thing that I very much so enjoyed about this ship is when you walk in, there is an electric thermostat, okay? That electric thermostat, you, of course, use it to control the AC, but it had lighting fixtures. Now, I don't know if you've ever been on other ships, but sometimes figuring out the lights can be a bit tricky. But this, it had like morning, it had if you wanted to watch a movie, and it had like lights near the TV that would light up. It also had, like, of course, for nights, and I very much so enjoyed. One thing to notate, and I found this out the hard way. If that balcony door is open, the AC is not going to work. You hear what I'm saying? So if you think you're going to get a little breeze and that AC going to be flowing, not going to happen. Not on our watch. And learn it from me because I was in that room sweating. Couldn't understand why. Had to go figure it out with me. He said, ma'am, your balcony's open. It's a sign right here. Reading is fundamental. Chanel did not read, so I'm telling you. Maybe you won't read, but maybe you'll listen. Maybe you'll listen, okay? Okay? I want something to click, Richard. I'm telling you that if you have if you have a balcony room and that balcony door is open and it is not shut and sealed, that AC will not work and you'll be in that room sweating, especially if you go on the Caribbean in August. I almost went to the upper room, sitting up there playing them games with that balcony. The balcony didn't have to worry about me no more after that. Lies, it did, but I made sure I locked it so the AC could come on. We are going to deep dive into these neighborhoods, okay? So the first neighborhood that we're going to talk about is Chill Island. Chill Island was such a vibe. It is just that we are just chilling. We are having a good time. At Chill Island, there are a number of bars and eateries. So one of the bars was Coconut and Lime Bar in Chill Island, which I didn't get any drinks, but I saw people getting drinks and it looks like they had a lot of fun drinks. It looked like the adults were there having a very, very good time at the Coconut and Lime Bar. Everybody was very nice. They have like the slushies that are already back there with pre-made drinks. So that was very much so nice. They also have a swim and tonic bar, okay? The swim and tonic bar is a little bit different because the swim and tonic bar is, I think you have to go up a deck, but it's still considered Chill Island. It very much so gives me a resort vibe where the seats are in the water. The bar is in the water. So you're sitting there. It's also a DJ. It's loungers. It's cabanas. It's seats within the water. Now, it's weird because it's not in the 18 and over area. So kids can be over there, but that I didn't see any, but it was very much so signs that said, baby, if you got kids over here, watch them. Watch your kids, okay? So it wasn't in the, to me, I think it would, that type of bar would fit nicely in the Hideaway area, which we'll get to in a second, but whatever, it wasn't. The Coconut Lime Bar, we had the swim and tonic bar. We also had a pool, and this pool had loungers in the water. So like you could sit in the water, have your feet in the water while you're in the pool. Because on a lot of the other ships I've been on, the loungers are on the side, right? And then you go get in the water. No, you could walk in the water and there's places where, while your feet are wet, and there's places where you can sit. And I thought that was really, really nice. Now, food wise, in Chill Island, they had something called El Loco Fresh. So El Loco Fresh has burritos, tacos, nachos, that type of food. They also have a salsa bar where you could go get your own salsa. I believe they have quesadillas. Also, what I liked about this El Loco Fresh is they had their own bar, and baby, that bar looked lit, okay? They was up there taking shots. They was having a good time at that El Loco Fresh bar, okay? So we're already, just fun fact, Fun fact, this cruise had to have 20 bars and 20 places to eat. So if I say, oh, it's another bar, I promise you, it's another bar. It's a lot of bars, baby. It's a lot of bars. So this bar, though, specifically the El Loco Fresh bar, look more lit than the Swim and Tonic bar. You would think the Swim and Tonic with the DJ, you in the water, you having a time. No, El Loco Fresh, they was over there having a time. So if you, I didn't get to have a drink from over there, but if you go and you get to go see what El Loco Fresh is talking about, let me know. Let me know what I should drink on my next cruise, because what? Even though Chill Island had a few lit spots, right? Like the Swim and Tonic bar, El Loco Fresh, the food places, it very much so is a chill vibe. Like there are some places where you can hear DJs, but if you wanted to go and nuzzle up and lay in the sun and have a book and some peace and quiet, you absolutely could with no problems. You can find somewhere to literally sit and chill, have a drink, have a good time, read a book. I really did enjoy Chill Island. The next neighborhood we about to talk about is Thrill Island. You hear me? Thrill Island. Thrill Island, by far my favorite place on the ship. Thrill Island was a TIME, okay? I enjoyed Thrill Island. So Thrill Island was another neighborhood that was actually right on the side of Chill Island, which is crazy because, like I said, Chill Island, you could chill. Thrill Island was adrenaline, okay? Shaking my ass. That's what Thrill Island was giving. On Thrill Island, they had what I believe was the largest water park at sea. That's what they called it. So that's what I'm going to go with. If I'm wrong, let me know. But I believe it's the biggest water park at sea. Okay. And at that water park, I think it was called Category 6. And listen, sweetness. This wasn't no kiddie water park. You get what I'm saying? Like, first of all, you have to be like 48 before you could even go up the stairs to get in line. You have to be 48 inches tall. And I get it. I get that I'm only 5'1", but I feel like 48 inches. You can't be no little tiny kid getting on it. No, it's not for you, baby. You gotta have a little height to you before you get on these rides. And there were so I specifically got on either 3 or 4 slides. Screaming whole way. One of the slides was called, it was only 2 minutes long. It was called the pressure drop or the drop. It was yellow, okay? And it just went straight down. It just went, first of all, this wig almost came smooth off, okay? So make sure it's secure. Make sure that thing is sewed down, because I was like, what are we talking about here? But anywho, I got on the pressure and there was some kids in line. There was some kids in line. I asked the person I was with. I said, excuse me, is it really that scary? And was. I hope them babies got out of line and realized this is not a great idea. It was but that one, so you got in, you had to hold yourself like this, have your legs crossed, and you just like dropped straight down, okay? There was nothing, you weren't encapsulated in anything. You just got your ass on that slide, you sat your butt down and dropped, okay? And then there was a few others where you got in a tube, but like other people, you had to hold on the sides and the tube was spinning round and round and round. One of them, oh my God, I had a time, okay? I love water slides. I love water parks. It is such a good time. I really appreciate it. So one of the days we got on, the lines were pretty long, but the next day the lines were not that long. So I was on them back to back. So then they had another one where you grabbed a mat and you had to walk with your own mat, and you kind of just like flow through on the mat through the water slide. And there was one that I wasn't gonna get on, but you stand up. I think you hold yourself like this again. You stand up, and then they remove the floor from under you and you drop down. Count me out. The wig would have been off. I would have been here. Wig would have been floating somewhere. I don't have time for that. Okay. But that was Category 6 water park. Okay, so also off in Thrill Island, or maybe it was off of Thrill Island, I'm not sure. They had the Hideaway. The Hideaway was 18 and over, adults only. The Hideaway was a vibe. The Hideaway looked like a good time. When I went to the area, it was pretty packed. But in the Hideaway, they had day beds, they had an infinity pool, they had a DJ, they had a bar, and it was a lot. And I do mean a lot of like couch seating. The only thing that I must notate is that I didn't see no shade. There wasn't no umbrellas, there wasn't nothing. So I don't know if I would want to be out there. Even in the infinity pool, it was nice. It was beautiful because literally you're looking at the open ocean. It was gorgeous. But number one, there was no shade, and number two, there was it was like people soup. It was a lot of people in there. And we did not have a full sailing. So I just wonder what it would be like when the ship is at its capacity. You get what I'm saying? But either way, I liked it. I like anything that's adults only, okay? We love the kids over here. But sometimes we need a break. I need a little break, okay? So I definitely like the hideaway area. It was very gorgeous, very, very nice. But if you consider going and want to go to that area, I would suggest maybe bringing like a neck fan, or if you have like a big floppy hat that could keep, you know, the sun out of your face, because maybe I missed it, but I didn't see a whole bunch of shade in that area. And per our previous discussion, baby, you're in the middle of the Caribbean Ocean. Okay, that's too much. That's too much, baby. I get hot. She sweats. You know, I'm thick. Okay, I got the thighs be rubbing together. It's too much. So just take that into account. So before you get to Hideaway Island, they have this cute little place where you could play mini golf. They also, if you go upstairs, they have a sports court where I caught an intense game of dodgeball. Intense, all right? But outside of the dodgeball, I think they had pickleball, they had basketball, like 3-on-3 tournaments I saw up there a few times. They had bleachers where you could sit. It was really, really nice. So that is all in Thrill Island. Now, another part of Thrill Island, they do have food. I mean, so they have the bar where the hideaway area is. They also have a place called Baseline. Baseline had your snacks. Like it's crazy because it's almost like they had kid snacks for adults. You get what I'm saying? Like they had chicken strips, they had like warm pretzels that you could dip in nacho cheese. Those were really, really good. Only when the pretzels were straight off the oven. They had tater tots, smash burgers, hot dogs, things of that nature. Of course, like sodas and things that you could drink. And then it was a bar on the other side of Baseline. And I feel like that's a perfect type of food that you would want to eat after going to Category 6 water park or almost escaping getting hit upside the head by a dodgeball. You get what I'm saying? Like, I felt like it was really given what needed to be given for that area. I think that was a very good choice and great food to put right there. So then on the other side of Baseline, you had, and then I don't know if I said this, but on the other side of Baseline, there was a bar. So it was like Baseline where you get the food, and then it was all the chairs, and then it was a bar on the other side. So there was food and a bar in Thrill Island. And then when you walked around, you went to rock climbing. If you wanted to rock climb, go ahead, rock climb. I have these claws. You see? We're not rock climbing. It's not focusing. There we go. You see with these, there is no rock climbing, okay? Who's climbing up rocks with these? Not me. Not Chanel Dominique, but if that's your ministry, have at it. I tried. I'll insert some beam footage, some beautiful beam footage of me trying to rock climb and how I looked crazy. However, if that's your ministry, you do that. But what I did do at Thrill Island was the Crown's Edge. Oh my goodness. It was so much fun. So Crown's Edge is like this, almost like, it's very much so for the adrenaline junkie, okay? So what I did was you go and you have to make an appointment. Now, again, I was on a Shakedown Cruise. So for us, it was free of charge. You just had to book it when it was available. Also, keep an account that the weather does play a part in if you can do this activity or not. Because the first night that I was supposed to do it, it rained. And they said, no, ma'am, I think not, because it rained. So then I had to come back and do it the next day. It was sunny, it was bright, it was no problem. So just keep that into account if you do book it. Make sure that the forecast allows for you to do this activity. So what happens is you go and you get dressed, you watch a video, you get all suited up. in this outfit. You get in harness, you walk upstairs, and then you walk across a plank. Okay, you're up high. Okay, then you walk across a plank and you go around on the side of the ship. It's water under you. Okay, and you're walking, you're scared. It's like these little like X's you cross on. Okay, and then you go. I have a video. I'll insert the video so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. And then you go on the side of the ship, and then they release the ground from up under your feet. Yeah, sure do. And then you kind of zip line around the side of the ship, and then you're back and you have your feet on solid ground. I did it twice. Can you believe that? They recorded it the first time, but I did it twice, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I did. Now, when I was down and they were suiting me up, did I almost cry? Absolutely. What was I screaming out obscenities the whole time? Absolutely. Both times. But I did enjoy it. So, if you're an adrenaline junkie, I say why not? Why not? But I enjoyed it. So Crown's Edge was an experience. That is something that I don't know if I got on another starship, if I do it again. It's like I did it, I conquered it, we cool. But I did like it. So the next neighborhood is Central Park. Central Park is not a new concept for Royal Caribbean. A lot of other ships have Central Park. This one was, outside again, this ship, there were just so many details. They did not skip out on the details, and I love that, right? So an example would be like, so Central Park, it mimics Central Park in New York, except a lot cleaner. So on the sailing, Central Park was right above deck 7. Fun. And it's probably important to note this, I should have said this. Our room was on deck 7. So Central Park, if we were on the other, I think we were in the aft of the ship, and I think we're in the forward of the ship, and this was in the aft of the ship. But we didn't have to get on the elevator or walk up. I think maybe a small staircase we had to walk up or down. But the moral of the story is where we were was not too far from Central Park. Only went over there one time. And the one time I went was to make sure I got footage so I could talk about it right here in this video. Okay. But something important to note is that at Central Park, it is not a new concept, but this was very detailed. So you see birds as you're walking into Central Park. They have speakers blaring bird sounds chirping. This is another peaceful place. This is another place I just want to have my latte. I just want to read my book. You can't necessarily watch the sunrise, but I just want to, before the sunrise, I can go to the gym, after the gym, while the sun is about to rise, just sit here and enjoy life, enjoy God's creation. That's what Central Park gave me. Central Park does have a lot of gyms though. They have a lot of restaurants like Azumi. They have, I think Chops Grill is in Central Park. They have Park Cafe, which is complimentary. Azumi and Chops Grill are specialty dining restaurants. They had one called Sushi and Ice Cream. Baby, listen, it was near Zuni. Check it out. That's not my ministry. The way me and my stomach are, no. But they had a place called Sushi and Ice Cream. They had a lot of like luxury stores. I think it was like a Rolex store. It was also something called Luz. I didn't get a chance to check out Luz or what it was. If I could research it and find it, maybe I'll put it across the screen. But it was something over there called Luz. It's really a nice tranquil spot. It's just very peaceful. I very much so enjoy Central Park. That one too is not one that's very like child heavy. Mostly it was adults, just like really just sitting in a park, chilling, like very much so being thankful in Hozo. Listen to like just very much so like in perfect harmony with the way things are. I'm listening to these birds chirp on these speakers because there were no birds on the ship. And I thought when I walked in that area and I heard the birds on the speaker, I thought I was going crazy because I was like, where the hell are the birds? I want to see the birds. And then I walked over to the speaker and it was just the most peaceful thing. Listen, Royal, shout out to you for the details, Royal, okay, so this next area is called Surfside. Surfside was where I spent a lot of time because I was on floor the 7th deck and Surfside was right on the 7th deck, right? So Surfside was very much so, in my opinion, for the kiddos. Like when you walk in, it very much so gave like I'm at a fair or I'm at a theme park. Like there's this big huge flamingo. When you walk, it's surfboards, it's a big arcade. They had a lot actually in that area. That's where the little kiddie pool was. You could see the ocean from the kiddie pool as well. It was so cute. They had a lemon post bar where you can get like these drinks, like these lemonade drinks that they put in Capri Sun packets. I got one, enjoyed it. It was just a little too sweet for me. It was a little too sweet and I had to add a shot in it. We don't have to talk about it, but that was pretty good. They also have a Surfside eatery, kind of like Baseline, where you can get things like chicken strips and tater tots and add like cinnamon churros and cookies and stuff like that. And then on the other side of it, they had, no, excuse me, that one was called Surfside Bites, where you can pick up, you know, like chicken strips and tater tots and churros. And then on the other side of it, they had Surfside Eatery, which I went to a couple times because it was on the same deck that our room was on. And you can get almost like a full breakfast or a full lunch. They opened at certain times, but like you could get eggs, bacon, toast, donuts, coffee in the morning. Or if you go for lunchtime, you know, you can get like, it wasn't just like chicken strips and fries. Like you can get like, I think I saw grilled zucchini, salad, mashed potato. Like they had more. Clearly it wasn't the same type of options as like going to the dining room or going to the Windjammer, which is their buffet, which we'll talk about the food in a second. But they definitely had more of a selection where you can sit down and eat decent food. And it wasn't just like quick bites. You get what I mean? So I very much so enjoyed that. They also had a place I did not eat at called Pier 7. So if you go, check it out. Tell me about it. Let me know how you feel. Okay? Okay. Oh, one more thing. This was also family central in my opinion because they had like not a Ferris wheel, a merry-go-round. It's like a merry-go-round right there. It's really nice. Like that area is really nice. I just feel like it's very much so family friendly, you know? Like if I was there with the little one, maybe like anybody. If I was there with a child, I'd say maybe between the ages of like 3 and like 12, I would just tell them, baby, have at it. Go to that pool, go get you a little bite to eat, go to that arcade, and leave me be, okay? That's what I would tell. That is the perfect place for that type of age demographic. But like I said, I spent time there as well, and it was fine. But it definitely, I think that area is designed to be more family centric. Okay, so next we're gonna talk about the Royal Promenade. So when I told you we walked in and we saw the Pearl, that was all in the Royal Promenade. And the Royal like it's still talking about it to this day. I've been off of that ship for about 5 or 6 days. The Royal Promenade still is stunning. It is stunning. It is still embedded in my brain, like how much detail, how pretty it was. So in the Royal Promenade, it's when you walk on. Literally, it gives a mall, okay? It's very colorful. I think a lot of the times when I was there, the colors were like blue and purple hues. And in the Royal Promenade, there is a lot. So you have the Pearl when you first walk in. You also have Sorrento's Pizza, where I spent a lot of my time because I am a pizza girl, okay? And at night, like as things start to close, the pizza is where it's at, okay? That's where a lot of people go. I personally enjoy the pepperoni and the barbecue chicken, but that's just me and my ministry. Also have a karaoke bar in there. They have something called dueling pianos. When I went there, it was so first of all, of course, when I saw it originally, it was empty. But at night, it's 2 people on a piano having a time, okay? And while I was only in there for about 5 minutes because it was packed. It was a man who looked to be Caucasian. He let us know he was doing It Wasn't Me, okay? By Shaggy, singing it, lots of soul. And then let us know he did an ancestry test and he was 13% Jamaican. And he said, then said, let's have a twerking contest for my roots.
I think we should get someone on my side and someone on your side to have a twerk off. Don't make me use my Trump card again. Frickin' Rick Ross to come up.
That's how it was going down at Dueling Pianos. And then the other girl was on the piano and she got to playing stuff. And they had a twerking contest with grown men. Okay, hands on your knees, hands on your knees. It was a time. Dueling Pianos looks like it was a time, okay? They also had in the Royal Promenade There's a comedy club in there. Did not get a chance to go to the comedy club. There is a Royal Theater where I saw a show, and I'm gonna tell you about that later on in this video. Okay, we ain't gonna talk about the Royal Theater right now, but there is a Royal Theater in that area. They have like the Park Cafe, which is 24 hours. That is huge on a cruise. Okay, so in the Royal Cafe, and it was really nice. It is complimentary as well. They had like, you could get snacks, you get cookies, and them cookies was giving me everything I needed. But they also had like in the morning, like they had breakfast sandwiches. They had barbecue chicken sandwiches that you could warm up. They had like cold sandwiches as well. They had yogurt bowls. They had so much in addition to the sweets. So I really did enjoy Park Cafe. I'm sad that I like discovered it on like the last day we were there, but I made up for lost time, especially with them cookies. Okay, them cookies was everything. So then, and that was kind of at the top of the Pearl. So then they also had in the Royal Promenade, they had guest services. They had Boleros, which is a bar. They had 1400, another bar. I think it's called Horn and Thistle, and guess what that is? A bar. And then they had Giovanni's, which is an Italian spot where it's specialty dining. There was so much. I'm sure I'm missing some things. I think I said guest services. There was so much in the Royal Promenade, and it's beautiful. It is super detailed. It is super nice. It is everything that you can hope and dream for on a cruise ship. It's stunning, especially with that Pearl right there in the middle. So some special things that, in my opinion, are not neighborhoods. They could be neighborhoods, and I just don't know it. Okay, but in my opinion, they're not neighborhoods, but they are worth mentioning. It's number one, the gym. That gym was the biggest gym that I've ever seen at sea. Honestly, at one point I had a membership to Planet Fitness. It was bigger than the Planet Fitness that I used to go to on land. Definitely bigger than the Orange Theory that I go to on land. It was huge. Okay, I mean, multiple Stairmasters, 3 different places where there were treadmills. It was upstairs, downstairs. There were bikes upstairs, weights upstairs. There was a cycling room. Like, it was free weights. It was weighted machines. That gym was crazy big. So if you are the type to go on a vacation and work out, this is a decent workout facility. You are going to be able to get all of the razzle dazzle you need to at that gym. So, and I don't know if this is a hidden gem. I don't know if this is considered a part of a neighborhood, but the Overlook. When I discovered the Overlook, I said, is this a joke? The Overlook is beautiful. So it is this area. It's the dome of the ship. Okay. And you can see, I mean, it's just windows and a dome where you can see everything. It's upstairs, downstairs. There is a bar at the top of the Overlook. There's also a bar, like when you go downstairs in the Overlook, they have like, it's so pretty. The details in that is so nice. Like, they have like these LED screens that makes it look like there's fish swimming in the Overlook, like a glass with fish, like almost like a fish tank. And then I believe that the bar at the top of the Overlook has some sort of unique espresso martinis. I did not get a chance to taste it, but that's what I believe. It was almost like a coffee bar type of thing, but they had alcoholic beverages as well. Next to that, they had something called AquaDome Market that had multiple food places. And then that's right by where the AquaDome is, which is where the water shows are. So that whole area was just very nice. The Overlook though, while I was there, I was working. I did forget my headphones. I only had to work one day, but I forgot my headphones for work. But if I would have remembered my headphones, I definitely would have worked from the Overlook instead of working from the room where I needed peace and quiet, because they had like these pods that people can sit in. They also had these like lounge chair. Like, it was very, 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 very nice, but it was also loud. So I don't know. If you need to work somewhere where you don't have to interact with people, I have to interact with people at work. So clearly I'm in meetings like all day. So for me, it's not great if you don't have like noise canceling headphones, but if you do, or if you just need to, or even if you just need to edit a video like this, right? The Overlook is perfect. It is so nice. And you're just looking at the open seas. It's also a part 2 near the Pearl Cafe that is very much so similar. Like, it's just so peaceful. It's so beautiful. So consider checking out the Overlook. I really, really like that area. Okay, another place we're going to talk about is the casino. Chanel is not much of a gambler, but I did go in there just to see what it was talking about and because it was so pretty. And it's off, I believe it's off on the side of guest services. I don't know. Don't quote me on it. The moral of the story is walking in, I was like, what the hell is this pretty thing? And then I see Casino Royale. That casino is gigantic. It is huge. And then you guessed it, a big bar in the middle, okay? And at that bar in the middle, I met this man. He was telling me about gin and tonic and telling me drinks that I should drink. Like he was like, what you need to get is a pina colada. And when you get the pina colada, you get a shot. Like he was so nice. It was just such a good time. We was over there laughing and joking and it was really, really nice. If you are a gambler, that casino is that's gonna be your time to shine is at that casino. You get what I'm saying? It was really, really nice. The only thing that I am not a fan of in casino is they smell like cigarettes. I don't want to smell like cigarettes, so it's not my razzle dazzle. But besides that, the views, the beauty of it, when I went, it was pretty goddamn packed. It's the biggest casino that I've ever seen at sea. Now, that doesn't mean much because per our previous discussion, I'm not much of a gambler, but you get what I'm saying? It was a big casino. The next thing we're going to talk about is the food. The food. Buttermilk biscuits. We're going to talk about the food. Okay, so let me just put this disclaimer out there, okay? When I'm talking about cruise ship food, it is going to be different. The expectations are different than food on land, okay? The reason is, if you go to your favorite steakhouse and you make a reservation for 8 p.m. and you get this beautiful juicy steak, right? Hear me out. They are probably cooking at your favorite, if it's a local steakhouse, maybe 200 people tops that night. On a cruise ship, they are making this food for thousands and thousands of people and turning it over for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, okay? So some of it is going to be processed. Some of it is going to be, do you get what I'm saying? Like the standards are just a little different. It's not going to taste like your mama or your granny who's been making soul food in for Sunday dinner. In my family, they start Saturday night, okay? That's when they start. That's when they start washing greens and things like that. You cannot compare that food to what they're making for thousands of people on a ship. So just keep that in mind when I give you my reviews on this food. Now, that does not mean that it does not need to taste good, okay? That does not mean that it don't need to taste good. I just understand that this is made for thousands of people all day, every day, around the clock. So that's just the way my expectations are set, okay? Okay, so with that being said, we're gonna go into the food. So first we're gonna start with the main dining room. For the main dining room, again, it was 3 nights. I ate there twice. On night 1, the appetizer that I got was crab cakes. Some crab cakes was everything I wanted and needed. Those crab cakes was them crab cakes was good as hell. Okay, so then the meal that I had was honey chicken with garlic mashed potatoes and corn on the cob. Mashed potato. So Royal Caribbean can make a mashed potato. Now, is it boxed? Is it just add milk, just add water? I don't know, but I appreciated it. I thought it was pretty goddamn good. The corn was, it needed pepper, okay? The chicken though, you know what the chicken gave me? The chicken gave me, okay, so when y'all was little, did y'all ever eat like them Hungry Man dinners? That was like fried chicken with like a brownie that you could never get the brownie right. Mashed potatoes that usually was ice in the middle. That's what the chicken gave me. Gave me Hungry Man dinner. Was it edible? Absolutely. I give it a solid, maybe a 5 out of 10. Like, I did not finish it, okay? And then for dessert though, I had the royal cheesecake. Royal cheesecake gonna get a 10 out of 10 every time, okay? Luckily for me, I had my stomach amputated, okay? So I very much so cannot eat a lot. So the crab cakes, the garlic mashed potatoes, and the royal cheesecake had me full to capacity. So I didn't need that fried chicken. But if you might have needed the fried chicken, I don't know what to tell you. That was my experience. It was edible. It just gave like Hungry Man dinner. That fried chicken that was frozen, you warm it up in the microwave. The mashed potatoes are frozen in the middle, and the brownie, you just can't get it right. That is what that chicken gave. On night 2, they made up for it. On night 2, damn it, real quick, they made up for it. Okay, so night 2, for dinner, they had calamari, delicious. Lobster tail, oh my God, delicious. Delicious. It was so decadent. Like, it melted. The butter melted, okay? And then for dessert, warm apple cobbler with ice cream. Okay, ate every bite. It was so good. I ate so much I was sick afterwards. I had to really go recollect. I had to go reflect. Okay, I had to go talk to the Lord. So that was really good. So night 1 was okay. Night 2, bomb.com in the dining room. So then another place that I ate at, or another thing that I did was they have, so nobody tell you this. When you go on a cruise, on this Royal Caribbean cruise, room service is usually not included. I think this is like a $7.95, $8 delivery fee for them to deliver the food to your room. I'm not doing that. I'm walking to go get the food. Okay, so I need the steps. Okay, she's chunky. So, but what they do offer is something called a continental breakfast, and I discovered it actually on the Freedom of the Seas. So I'll show you. I'm gonna insert a clip here and then show you the continental breakfast, how I ordered it, what we ended up getting, all that fun stuff. So, is this recording? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Rashida got bags. Her husband's girl. Poor Rashida. They've been dragging her. They've been dragging her on TikTok, but I think she's taking it in good faith. Anyways, that's not why I'm here. I'm here to talk about the breakfast menu on Royal Caribbean ship, okay? The best way for me to do it is just to show this to you in real time, okay? So I'm on Star of the Seas right now. It's a great time. I'm enjoying it. Hold on. I'm talking too much. I'm getting goddamn cotton mouth. There is a breakfast menu that comes in the room in the drawer, okay? I was actually on Freedom of the Seas not too long ago. Same thing for that ship as well. So I can safely say that I think this is a royal thing that they have as it stands today. Today is August 10th. August 10th, 2025. So as it stands right now, I believe that this is something that they have. So normally, okay, so back, like, let's talk circa maybe 2017, 2018, everything was included, including room service as far as the food, unless you did specialty dining as it pertained to a cruise ship. So if you got on a cruise and you got room service, it was all free. Somewhere along the lines, they changed it and they said, nah. They said, we need to charge you $8. They said, run me my $8. They said, I need my $8. You see what I'm saying? So now I think it's like a fee of $7.95 if you have room service. However, common for breakfast, they put these in and they have a complimentary portion of it. And I just want to make sure you all are aware, because I have been on quite a few royal ships, and up until I just went on Freedom of the Seas, I was not aware. Okay, so on here, on this side here, they have a continental breakfast side. Okay, and I'm gonna fill it on out because I want my little juice delivered. I want my juice delivered to this motherfucker. You get what I'm saying? So, yeah, it's a continental breakfast. You can get apple juice, milk. You can get donuts, you know what I'm saying? You can get cold cereal, hot cereal, fruit. So, yeah, that is the continental breakfast that they will bring to you every morning. You just have to have this completed and filled out and put on the door by 3 a.m. the night before, so room service can get it. So that is what I'm about to do now, and it's one of the things that I will be rating as far as food goes. Continental breakfast, yeah, and it says it right on the front that for the breakfast, the continental breakfast is complimentary. American breakfast has a service fee of $7.95 per room, and an 18% gratuity will be automatically added to your check. Okay, so if you get this, make sure, unless you want to pay the $7.95 and the 18%, ball out. But it's the exact same food that is both in the Windjammer and the brunch in the dining room. So, but yeah, make sure we fill out this continental side, because I don't want you to get charged if you don't want to get charged. If you want to get charged, ball out, okay? But yeah, so that is a great option in case you just want to chill. You don't want to leave the room. You don't want to be up and at 'em early in the morning, because it is technically vacation. You know what I mean? So just keep that in mind. And also one more thing. Rashida got bags. Her husband's girl.
bag, big bag. Yeah, my bag is loaded up with snacks and different foods. Squeeze into this tiny shirt, my big bag has no room. Big bag, big bag.
So the continental breakfast was, I mean, for what it was fine. I'm glad that it came to my room. I was actually able to eat it, though, like I told you, I had to work. So the morning while I was working, I was just on the balcony in between eating the fruit. I don't think I touched the oatmeal, but eating the fruit and drinking the coffee. And it was really nice for it to be at the room. So take that into consideration, that you can absolutely 100% get a continental breakfast delivered to your room if that's what you want to do, and it will be free of charge. Another place that I went to eat was the AquaDome Market. So the AquaDome Market is like a place where you kind of walk through. It's like a strip, and you walk through, and it's just multiple like eateries where you can grab food and go, okay? So the eateries that they had, one was creme de la crepe. I had a hazelnut and Nutella crepe that I've been thinking about since I got back. That crepe was so much good. Oh, that crepe was good. It was good. They make it right in front of you. So creme de la crepe, I give that one a 10 out of 10, but of course it's not like a full meal. Okay, it's just like a little sweet treat. I had a place called Mai Tai. So Mai Tai was a place where you would pick like your carbs. So I think it was like rice or noodles, and you would pick your meat. And I think the meat options that they had like a vegetable pad thai. You could pick like a lemongrass or like a beef. You could get spring rolls, and they could put like, you know, they'll put lime and like peanuts, and you could get like hot sauce. I had a bowl with the curry beef, and I thought it was pretty good. The only thing is, okay, so the chicken was lemongrass chicken, okay? That's not really my favorite, but so I got the beef. And the beef was also very lemon heavy, but it was good. It was very, in my opinion, it was very fresh. You know, it didn't taste super processed. So I enjoyed it. I was tearing them spring rolls up. I just walk by and be like, can I get 2 spring rolls? Those vegetables. I was tearing them up. I like a spring roll. A spring roll actually hates to see me coming. Okay. So I appreciated them for those spring rolls. And then I think next to that, it was a barbecue spot. And the barbecue spot was Pig Out Barbecue. The only thing so there was 2 things I had from there. I had a barbecue pulled pork sandwich. They had chips too. They had barbecue chips, masterpiece. Okay, so I was stopping by and get me a bag of chips every now and then, and I appreciate it. You know, when you wake up, especially when you had a little too much to drink, you eat that bag of chips and go back to sleep. That's a good time. So I appreciated them for having those little bags, like the snack bags of chips. You get what I'm saying? So I had some of the chips from there, but I had a barbecue pulled pork sandwich. It was okay. It was just okay. It wasn't nasty though. And then I had some of the macaroni and cheese. Again, it's not the macaroni and cheese that my mama or my mans or my granny make, right? It very much so needed salt, pepper, paprika, all that fun stuff. It wasn't our macaroni and cheese, but it was okay. It was edible. Would I get it again? Probably not. But I would get another one of those barbecue pork. You know, for me, I have to be in the mood for barbecue. Barbecue is very heavy, messy food. You get what I'm saying? So I just have to be in the mood for it. It was a Mediterranean spot. I think it was called Feta Mediterranean. I did not eat there. But the line was always wrapped around. And I was talking to one of the ladies in the line, and she said the gyros was off the hook. So do with that information what you will. And then there was another spot called La Cocinita. I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing that correctly. And at that spot, they had, sorry, I'm reading, one second. They had arepas and empanadas. The empanada was okay. I have very high standards for empanadas. High, okay? So that's me. That's probably me in my ministry. It was just okay. Okay, I wasn't gonna waste the calories on it. It was all right. It wasn't great. It wasn't bad. But again, it didn't meet my expectations. So I let it be what it was. They did have the arepas. And it's like this sweet corn tortilla. And it's like melted cheese and then another sweet corn tortilla. I'm sure it's arepa. I'm sure I'm not pronouncing it correctly, but it's like this flour doughy type of thing that puts you in the mind of a tortilla. And it was sweet corn, and then they put meat on top of it. For the meat, you could pick either chicken or beef, and then they put coleslaw on top of it. Now, I got a chicken one and a beef one for kicks and giggles. The beef one was really, really good. I very much so enjoyed it. The only thing is the meat had a lot of fat in it. It was a lot of fat pieces in the meat. I don't too much mind it, but if you mind it, it might be like, oh no, this is not it. I did not like the chicken. I can't put my finger on it, but it had an aftertaste that almost made me want to. I did not like it. I did not like it, which was wild because that beef gave me everything I needed. The chicken did not, and different strokes for different folks, right? Right. So that was the food that I ate at the AquaDome Market. And then again, there was Surfside Eatery. I did go there for breakfast one day. And I just had like bacon, a fried egg. I think I had a donut and some coffee. And it was fine. It was good. What I was very much so impressed with was that Windjammer. But the buffet, it was very nice. Very, very, very nice. The food options were top tier. They had gluten-free options. They had fruit options. They had salad options. They had, baby, if you wanted to eat like a child, grilled cheese sandwiches and chicken strips and hot dogs and french fries. They had those type of options. Like the Windjammer was top tier. I ate in there a couple days. What was sticking out to me right now is there was one day where they had barbecue pork ribs. They were good. So the flavor was okay, but they were very tender, falling off of the bone. Okay, very much so. Like if I would have ate at the Windjammer every single day, I would have been okay with it. It was pretty good. So that was as far as I got with all of the food options. A good thing to notate is that there are the main places, right? There's the specialty dining. There is the main dining room as well as the Windjammer, but there's casual eats all over the place where you can pick up food. Two things you're not gonna be on this ship. If you don't want to be sober, you're not gonna be sober because there's bars everywhere, and you're not gonna be hungry. Not unless you want to be. Okay, just keep that in mind. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna talk about, one of the last things we're gonna talk about, is the entertainment. The entertainment on this ship. Okay, so or the entertainment that I saw. So let's start with the entertainment that I didn't see. There is a show, a water show, an aqua show called Twerk. Didn't see it. Okay, I heard it was really good. I have been on other aqua shows and I did see them practicing. For Twerk, and it looked like a time. Very beautiful. They also have an ice skating show called Soul. First of all, for Soul, I don't know if they go to like people who are trying out for the Olympics and didn't make it and be like, hey sis, do you want to be in a show on Royal Caribbean's Star of the Seas? Like, is that what you want to do? Because it was the second show that I've seen at sea and it was just like jaw dropping. And let me tell you, I am not, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not the type to, I think I've maybe taken a niece or nephew to see Disney on Ice once or twice in my life. I'm not the type to be like, let's go watch figure ice skating. No, hell no. But it was quite a show. It was quite a show. Definitely highly advise that. And things like the dueling pianos. They had a karaoke spot that looked to be pretty entertaining when I was walking by there. They had a comedy show. Didn't experience any of that, but they did have something, and this was off on the side of the casino, called a music hall. And that was pretty dope. It was like, it looked like almost like it mimicked like a concert venue, okay? And they was just covering like 80s and like 90s bands, playing music, people was dancing, having a good time. Definitely like that. Let's get to the production that I saw on the sea. First of all, she was born in the 1900s. 1980s to be exact, okay? So with being born in the 1980s, there was a movie that came out in 1985. Now granted, 1985 was before I was born, okay? But I grew up watching this movie, and it was called Back to the Future, okay? They had Back to the Future 1, 2, and 3, okay? And it is nostalgic. It very much so gives childhood. So when I saw that they was having Back to the Future, I said, oh, I need to get in on that. I need to see what that consists of, okay? I think I've seen like Hairspray. I don't know if it was Royal or Carnival, but I fell asleep while I was watching it. So I'm definitely not the Broadway type of gal, but I do like musicals. I was a fan of Glee, okay? Very much so, still obsessed with Amber Riley to this day because of Glee. So I do like musicals. I love productions and I love Back to the Future. So I don't know if that in and of itself set me up for success, but this production was it was done so eloquently. I wish I could go see it again. I think they said that this play was on Broadway, if I'm not mistaken. Like the music, the graphics, the dancers, the singers, the way that it followed the plot in the movie but still made it like family friendly. If you've seen Back to the Future, there are a few things that's like, maybe kids shouldn't see this. They pretty much edited those out. Like, it was really, 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 really good. It was so good. Like, without a doubt, if you like if Back to the Future bring back memories for you, like even like the car, you know, the car was the time machine and Back to the Future. I'm sorry if I'm spoiling this movie, but it came out in 1985, so if you haven't seen it, like at this point, you're probably not gonna. But anyways, so the car was like the time machine. The way, I mean, like scenes from mind was blown with how they put that cinematic performance together and how they're doing it every night. Like, what? Is this a joke? Like, I'm telling you, it was so good. It was so good. Oh, I just loved it. I loved it. If you get a chance, go see Back to the Future. Like low key, if I book a star again, I'm probably gonna, every night they showing it, I'm probably gonna go sit, because I was in there having a time. Childhood memories unlocked. It was so amazing. So that was the entertainment. Like I said, they had ice skating, they had laser tag, they had escape rooms, they had so much entertainment on the ship that I didn't get a chance to experience. But I don't see how laser tag cannot be fun. I don't too much care for escape rooms, so I probably wouldn't like that. But ice skating sounds like a good time. So there is so much to do. I don't see anybody getting bored on this ship. So my final thoughts on Star of the Seas is it's stunning. Like, it's beautiful, it's amazing, it is family friendly. There are, I would imagine this again was a Shakedown Cruise, so it wasn't too many families. It was a lot of like spouses. But I would imagine that once these get going for booking, this is just tailored to the family atmosphere. So this is very much so if, you know, children, like there's places where you can get ice cream. I mean, that part was like flooded with kids, and I was there because I'm a big kid. Okay. I love me a little ice cream cone. So, so it is very much so family friendly, and I like that, right? It's something for everybody to do. I think for somebody who's doing a full sailing, I think it would be in your best interest to very much so like pace yourself if you want to visit all the neighborhoods. Me, I wasn't doing no tripping. They wasn't gonna stress me out, okay? I was on PTO, okay? So if I'm on PTO, I'm not gonna get stressed out over nothing because I'm on PTO. I am literally taking time to not be stressed. But if you are the type of person who's like, I need to see everything, you need to plan. It could be overwhelming. Do you get what I'm saying? Because it's like, it's a lot of ship. Truthfully, I probably only saw 60% of the ship, and I'm okay with that. Maybe somewhere between 50 and 60%. And I'm okay. I'm not going to lose a wink of sleep behind it because I had a good time. But if you're like, I need to experience everything. Number one, if you're on a normal sailing, it's probably going to be either 5 or 7 days. Let's start there. Second, so you will have time. But definitely, like, I would say plan out like the neighborhoods that you want to visit and what you want to do in each neighborhood, so you don't feel like you're missing out on anything. I also feel like this ship, it very much so gave luxurious, swanky, and fun all at the same time. It was a vibe. It was totally a vibe. I don't always experience the same thing over and over again. I like new adventures, again, especially if I'm on PTO. Okay, so I don't know if I will get back on this anytime in the near future, but I don't see how one could not have a great time on this ship, right? I feel like it's something for everybody. If you don't want to be bothered with if you are super family oriented, you can go to the Surfside area and have a time with the little ones. And this is all just while you're on the boat. We're not even talking about when you're porting and doing activities like swimming with dolphins and whatnot, right? We're just talking about on the ship, okay? You could go to, you could send your kids to the arcade if you really don't want to be bothered with them. Or even if you do, you guys could go to the water park. You know, you could go, there's so many pools, there's so many jacuzzis. You could go to do an escape room activity with them. Y'all could go sing karaoke together, right? Y'all could go, you can go and take them on a Ferris wheel. Like, there's just so much to do. If you don't want to be bothered, you could take them to go, you could sign them up to go do a basketball tournament they don't even know about and say, go play. Put on your tennis shoes and go play, okay? Y'all can go play mini golf together. If you don't want to be bothered with kids, you go to the hideaway. Go sit in an infinity pool, okay? Listen to a DJ with the vibes. Have a good time. Shake your money maker. right? If you don't want to do any of that, if you just want, you could go rock climbing. You could swing your ass off the side of the ship just like I did, okay? Over open waters. You could just lay. You could go to Central Park. You could sit there, read a book, have a cup of coffee. Like, I just don't see, unless you're determined to have a bad time, how somebody could not enjoy themselves on this ship. I'm super thankful I had the opportunity. It was free of charge. Such a blessing. I will say, if I ever got on, of course, it would be a longer sailing so I could enjoy everything. But I liked it. I highly recommend Star of the Seas. Like I said, I think it's never been on Icon, but I believe it's very, very similar to what you would get on Icon of the Seas. I really don't know the differences. But that is my review. So if you are going on Star, if you have a sailing for the Star, let me know. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll try to answer them, child. Like I said, I was too busy having a good time. I was there for a good time, not a long time, and I enjoyed every second of it, honey. But that concludes this video. Please consider subscribing. Let me know if you have any questions, if you have any Star sailing. Maybe I just been talking. I need me a little drink of water. I need me a drink of water, okay? Remember to break generational curses and look good while doing it. I will see y'all in the next video. Bye!